Hey, what's everybody up to tonight? How's everybody doing? We got October 11th, Thursday, about 10 minutes away from our closing candle. Got a little action here going on the price of Bitcoin, so I wanted to join you fine folks. Thanks for joining me. Guys, my name is Big Chonis. You guys can find me on Twitter. I am at Big Chonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I'm a crypto trader, a mentor, a chart psychologist, and an investor. Please do your own research. Okay, so listen, what we're watching here is some pretty interesting price action as we get into the closing candle here. So let's get right into it. Let me go to my Phoenix chart. That's Coinbase. No, that's the other one there. I got so many Bitfinexes. There we go. Okay, so we're watching this last little bit, this 4-hour candle here, this last little bit of movement here as we get into our end of day. And we're just going to watch the last little 5 minutes here. We still have about 10 minutes left in this candle here. And listen, we have been seeing a couple times here through these movements that we're getting some sort of these little buy-ups every time we tend to break bearish, and then they don't seem to kind of last very long. There's still not really a lot of faith in this kind of bounce in this area so far. So as we've seen, we had this buy up here, and then we kind of were breaking bearish once again and had another buy up. But basically, those two are pretty much negated where we happen here. And this is a double test currently of our low we've put in so far, at least on Phoenix. I know other exchanges have us going lower, but we're seeing here that we have, our volume is just not showing up right now. And you're kind of asking yourself, is this a value area for the price of Bitcoin right now? We can see, our volume we had earlier in the day here when we really broke bearish. I mean, people, how bearish did we break? This was quite a move, price range here. We went from, we got about 5% in like an hour, like the first hour of the day here. So that was quite a move in a very quick amount of time. It blew all our indicators out of the water. It broke all of our support levels out of the water, and on low time frames, it actually put a lot of things very bearish in terms of. RSI and stuff like that. We're seeing very oversold conditions on the hourly there. No, 30 minute, we had an RSI at 10. So we climbed through the day as we had a couple spikes here and there through the day. Now, as you can clearly see, as we end this day, we're actually turning the corner and losing any of that little bit of the bullishness we had found so far through this day of, what do you call it, stabilization. Now, this is currently a descending flag here. Yeah, this is currently actually. Let me do a channel here. I think that will look a little better. Where we're basically putting in a parallel descending flag. Now, bear flag and a bear flag. So bear flags, they can kind of angle up or down. So far, this is what we have here. We're putting in lower highs. So far, we're putting in lower lows, except for this little dip here is holding this key area here of this double tap we basically have going on right here. Now, this sideways action, as I said, had brought our RSIs off of the abyss. I remember even earlier the day, we had a big break there. Even our hourly was at 17. I mean, we hadn't been that low for such a long time there. So allowing us to kind of reset. Remember, we're back to, our lows so far, but our RSIs have allowed to kind of get a little higher, which means they have room to fall again. Last night's move, I keep saying last night because it happened last night, but I know it was earlier in the day's move. Really put so many things in such extremes oversold conditions, which allowed this day of kind of sideways price action to get them out of there. But now, once again, our Stochastic is angled bearishly on our hourly, our RSI is angled bearishly on our hourly, our MACD is angled bearishly on our hourly. We're losing momentum on our chalk money flow, and our squeeze momentum, which has kind of come up here, has done a full reset up, but now it's basically showing that we actually have some room to fall down once again. Let's go to our daily candle here. We got 4 minutes left to go in our candle. And let's zoom on in here and take a look at it. It kind of decipher kind of the obvious here. Let me just clean the chart up a little bit. So we were watching, the EMAs I like to use, 1226 and the EMA 55. I also got a couple MAs here, my MA 100, MA 200 way up here. And this break, this candle, which is about to close in 4 minutes here, I mean, massive volume. This volume was as big as what we had seen earlier in September when we completed our next bear break here. Remember, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 days of pretty nasty red candles before we actually found some sort of a bottoming there. This candle here, I mean, is this day one? I was talking about yesterday's show about U.S. equities and about how the really bear break they had yesterday, how it contributed to this current break of Bitcoin, but also today's fall through bear break of the U.S. stock market. Are we going to see the continuation in Bitcoin as well until the market feels this is a value area? Now, let's bring in our drawings again. And we see that even with this bear break, we're still holding higher lows, right? We are a low back here in June, 57.61. Retested it in August, 58.69. And you can clearly see we're putting even a higher low in from mid-September when we basically got down to 6,100. Now, that is notable still on this particular chart, which means we could possibly even get back to just a hair under 6K or right at 6K and still hold this line of support and still basically be putting in higher lows, giving the bulls at least some chance to get up there. Now, where is even there? And where are we actually talking about? Let me go back to the log here. There's a lot of ways you can kind of draw these lines here. I like to, use log and use linear and figure out kind of where these areas are. I'm in log here. We have our resistance tap where we basically topped off here to here, and a bull break can still take us where? I mean, we're kind of reject our EMA 200, or sorry, MA 200 anyway, right? So it would take a much of a bigger move now because we've confirmed this green line now is even more of a bearish turn where we actually still have the chance to retest this purple, but heck, we can't even get through this green line that's been confirmed as a major resistance line. We basically wicked out on here after testing here. And this was the three candles that basically confirm that no more, no mas. We're not getting up here yet. The bulls don't have the power to push here. Now listen, this daily break was pretty big in a pretty quick amount of time. And what did it do? Well, it really spread out our very tight Bollingers. And you can see we're actually still outside of our lower BB quite substantially here on our daily chart. Now, we talked about like a week ago on one of my broadcasts where because we were so tight on our daily Bollingers, a break of them could actually be allowed for a couple candles. Just because of how tight these are, relatively speaking. These are as tight as they've been in 2018. Now, we've seen circumstances where, well, honestly, we really haven't seen a circumstance when they've been this tight, breaking bearish. Along the bull run, we actually saw several circumstances where the tightness produced that bull break, but still, we're in a very different market than we were back then. But what this shows us that we could actually spend several candles lowering the lower BB as it allows to spread out. All right, so we just started our daily candle here, officially closed this really nasty candle here. We've spread out our EMAs. We've begun to fan them out. Our middle Bollinger resistance on our daily proved too hard to break through, and we're basically looking for at least a retarget eventually to our lower BB. But because we're so tight here, this could take actually several days candles here, which means we could touch lower areas. Now, if we do break bearish today, again, we could still go down to about 6K, and still hold this support line. Let's look at some other indicators here. Yeah, this was okay. So I got a couple days and and this is the weekly as well. So let's just clean this up here. Okay, so let's just keep this very clean. This is our RSI. Remember, we were finding that we were hitting that resistance at 54. We wanted to hold 50. Boy, did we break bearish. 35. That took a lot of the wind out of our sails on our RSI. Remember, RSI, Relative Strength Index. When we're able to get in these areas here, these higher areas, that's when our market can actually break bullish. Um, Getting back into these areas here has always been a struggle to turn the corner very quickly here. So we've leveled. Okay, we basically stopped our initial descent for the time being, but we got lots of room we can travel on both sides of the coin here. Looking here at our stochastics here, we're not able to get to the top here, put in a lower high, still angled very bearishly. Our leading indicator just raced out of the gates super quick here. Okay, it'll take a little time here for our trailer to kind of catch up. But you see we have running room here to get back down to zero. This will clearly find a bottom well before our trailer will. But this what basically still shows here there's currently no change in RSI direction. Now, our daily MACD, this was a really important look here. We were watching, and this is something I was tracking for quite a while, guys. Remember, we did 20 bars. So it was the 21st bar that actually broke the bearish, which was yesterday's candle. We started above, right? 21 and 20. So there it is. Once again, 20 down, 16 up, 14 down, 20 up. Now we're on day two of our bearish histogram on our MACD. Also crossed bearishly once again in our indicators. Look at our leading indicator, right? It broke bullish. It was able to get above zero. And look at our trailer. Just got there. 1%. Fell off here. And this was a big steep fall here. It'll take some time if these want to cross bullishly, I think. This was a big move. Big move. Now notice our support here on our trailing indicator where we broke it bullishly here. We can still retest this area down here. Also note a back test of, this one's even trickier here. I guess I got to do that now. It looks pretty good there. So maybe something down to here might be an area of support, which would still keep a higher low from our mid-September lows in our MACD and would actually still keep an equilibrium in place. What else we got here? Chuck and money flow. Wow, boy, do we fall off a cliff there. Remember, guys, we're talking about how many times this area has been our killers for our bullish moves here. Several times here in April, we were actually able to, bounce. This was the most bullish we were in our bear break ever since. And then this was our basically nice top off in late July there. Double tap of this area. We got out to the top of this. And here we had a triple tap almost. 1, 2, 3, a little Batman here. And boy, we now broke our zero line. A lot of money flow just blew out of this thing. It was, this is about positive money flow here. And we're just seeing that this is kind of cratered. Now we are still holding a slight higher low from our late September lows. So that is something to keep an eye on here. If we can find any sort of support here, I mean, the trend line's gone, but at least the higher low is still intact. We're going to see if we can actually keep an eye on that. And lastly, I want to look at here. This is important to me. This is my squeeze momentum. Again, it's another histogram I like to use. This goes back. This is like one of a superstar destroyer here. But here's our top. Here's our bottom. We've been stretching it out. I had to recompensate for this higher peak here that broke through this plane of this peak. But based on this and this now, this is our equilibrium. And we actually were not able to get this high here. We've started our first red histogram candle. And you can see in this tract here, we actually have a lot of running room to fall very bearishly here. And we want to look at a retest maybe of this level. We definitely want to get down to something like this, but we can see what bearish breaks can actually bring here. We're just starting one right now. Let's do a couple more indicators here on the actual candles themselves. I'm going to get rid of my Bollingers here. Probably get my TD. Let's give a little count going on here. So yeah, we had a reversal on our green 6. We're currently on a red 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I mean, God, this is going to take. There's no way we're not going to put in at least a red 3. And a red 4 should be pretty easy too. But after that, we might be able to do a turnaround there. I'm sure everything else is pretty showing very similar conditions on different time frames. Yeah, we're on a red 5 on the 12 hour. We completed a 9 on the 6, and now we could be doing a bleed out here. But yeah, all that was on this candle here. 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's not even a perfected one either. That's interesting though on the 6 hour there. Go back to my daily. I'm gonna get rid of my TD and kind of bring up my Ichimoku. Now you see how the cloud, the lower cloud here, right here and here, acted as very strong resistance, very similar to where it did it back here in early September when you broached that $7,400 range. Right now, once again, you are basically, we didn't even get up there now, and we're still watching our Tenkin and Kaijin. They are still very close. Haven't done any crossing just yet. Boy, are they close. But yeah, something's not looking too good there still. And these can be acting as resistance as well, even if the price was able to get up there. Remember, over a cloud gets wider as we go out into November and actually puts in a lower ceiling. 6,500 right now. Now this will adjust ever so slightly as we move on here, but you can clearly see how from a bull break we can even get back up here only in this short time frame. But once we get into November, it just becomes increasingly difficult with a lower ceiling there. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. Whew. All right, hey, let's check out the chat room. Thank you, 139 of my closest friends tonight. Jasper, Shasari, you were the first. G.D. Caro, Vicar Ahmed, Alexandros, Papanagaris, Crypto Omelet, Joe T, Lucy Y, Randy McMillan, Crypto Fever, E Rock. What's up, guys? E Dimmer, Dirty Money Music, Matt Majaris, L1AM44 Connor, Richard McEllen, Brian Donnelly, AD. What's going on, everybody? Let's see here. Let's take a look at longs and shorts. Is anything moving right now? Now that we started the new day, anything going on here of interest? ETC pairing. Before we go long on shorts, ETC pairing, a little pop here, a little pop. I mean, come on, oh, look how bad that Lumen candle was. Oh, brutal. That's a brutal candle there. Barely any bottom wick. ETH, ETH BTC. Trying to find a little support here. Again, just another diabolical candle there. Everything else is still red. Actually, before I go to, I'll go to that later. All right, so let's go to longs and shorts here. Got a lot to talk about tonight, don't we? All right, so let's look. Anything going crazy right yet? No. Okay, so Bitcoin longs. Let's do a comparison. And Bitcoin shorts. So, we get going on here. Now, we noted that I noted this in my earlier video today, my quick vid. Look how just precipitously yesterday's candle was as well on our Bitcoin longs. I mean, listen, they've been in this downtrend. They basically were building a little bit through September there. They topped off at a firm rejection on the MA200 daily, and then you can see basically what happened there. That rejection has led to kind of this little that cat had here, the lower high, and then basically a continuation now with a lower low of where we turn the corner here, curving only. Look at our shorts over here. Look how close we are once again to our all-time high zone. They have continued to load into the day here. Are they loading into today? Is this today? No, that's today right there. 11, 12. Yeah, okay, there it is. So this was yesterday, day before. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's today right there. And look at, it's been flagging here. Now, this is technically a bear flag, but it can definitely break bullish out of this kind of right here, at a rejection here. I look for another bottom test at the bottom here. But again, this still looks like it's poised to retest that upper area there of our all-time high zone once again, right? And that's something you guys just have to consider. Now, we talk a lot about bullish divergences that can happen in certain altcoins and what have you. But every time Bitcoin breaks bearish, we don't see that. We basically see the altcoins just get slaughtered. So I don't care how favorite altcoin is, whatever. Each one is kind of pumping more or less for the right reasons, the wrong reasons. Basically, you have situations where Doesn't matter what happens, Bitcoin breaks bearish, and these things can go significantly lower. I just want to make note of a couple of big crazy shorts yesterday. Litecoin short went kind of off through the moon here. I mean, wow, look at this candle here. Just tremendous rise in Litecoin short contracts. Look at Ethereum short contracts. Boom. Retesting, very close to retesting. Wow, ATH levels once again on the daily. Um, so yeah, that is notable. The market is very bearish once again on ETH and very bearish once again on LTC in relation to what's going on with Bitcoin there. So that is notable, and we're going to see if we can follow through on that. All right, I want to go back to my one screen, and I kind of want to talk about today's interesting news here that we had with our friend 0x token, otherwise known as ZRX. This was announced to be added to Coinbase today. And it had a very similar pattern that we had seen with Ethereum Classic when Ethereum Classic was added to Coinbase. And I put out a tweet about this a couple days ago, warning what would happen if ETC or if ZRX was added to Coinbase. You would have a nice little pop, and then who knows what happens after that. And sure enough, this is I'm over here on ETC USD. The day ETC was added to Coinbase was the day ETC kind of topped off, and today. The day ZRX over here is being accepted onto Coinbase wallets. Right now, put on the nastiest of upper wicks here on this candle on very high volume. So there's nothing that tells me about this current ZRX chart that is interesting about what's going on here that hasn't really happened with ETC. And remember, when ETC did break bearish after getting on to the exchange, it basically went from $20 to $10 and then had a 50% bounce, 40 something percent bounce there. So that's interesting, which means we're going to watch the price action when ZRX actually gets on trading on Coinbase Pro, aka GDAX Plus, and see what happens there. Because again, if it has another capitulation similar to ETC, there's a nice bounce opportunity in there as well. But look what happens longer term after that bounce. We're now at a lower low on ETC, flooding with $9 USD once again. And then you also happen to see what some of the kids that were not invited to the table at this point, what happened to them. I'm talking about you, Ada, that just had a brutal day yesterday, along with Bat. Bat was running yesterday early, right? And then it just tanked. What else is one of the Bitcoin, the Coinbase sixes? Where are you? There was Zcash. Yeah, Zcash just a terrible day as well. Because listen, they were on the list to get up next to Bat. Oh yeah, and Lumen. We talked about Lumen earlier. And listen, they got rejected. Boy, Lumen got rejected. Whoo, doggy. That was nasty here. Oh, I still have this interesting. Oh, look at that. Back in the channel here. Back in the channel. Yeah, 3,000 area there on Satoshi level. Next area of important support. Quick look at alts here. See what's going on. Anything crazy. Couple of randoms popping. Mercury token, couple big runners yesterday. Still some alt charts independently look interesting. But boy, did they take just a crapper the past couple days. Well, based on what happened with Bitcoin's move here. Remember, if Bitcoin breaks bearish once again, you could definitely see divergences in a couple coins who are bucking the trend. But still, like, they're all susceptible to another bear break of Bitcoin. GBTC, I talked about this one in a tweet a couple days ago. The failure of, I remember this had a 9 count, right? Yeah, where's my niner? I had a 9 count with a 1 to 4 candle correction. Actually, it was like a 2 candle correction. Actually, it was like a 1 candle correction followed by a really nasty completion and continuation here of this bearish count here. We're also seeing quite a gap here in this just nasty gap down. And we are at the lowest point now. This has traded relative to BTC. And remember, this has traded at a premium to the price, but it's always kind of also been a little bit of an indicator as to what's potentially going on here. And this broke bearish last week. So this was a forerunner to what was going to happen with Bitcoin. And when it broke bearish, okay, it did a back test of previous support. Okay, this shows kind of a roadmap to a Bitcoin break of 6K. Find support 57, 5600, back test back to 6K, rejected, and then some sort of a nasty continuation down. Still very possible looking at that. Quick look here at the S&P 500 here daily. Listen, this does affect crypto. I have no doubt. This is where people with wealth can put extra money that they've made in the overall broader markets into crypto. And these moves here do not give me a lot of interest that, or not a feeling that a lot of this money being pulled out of the stock market. It's not going into the crypto yet. It's going into T-bills. It's going into safe havens, money markets, just cash, people. I mean, this is such a brutal drop here. Um, this is just a price range here. 7% in a week here, basically. Remember, when a week's not done, tomorrow's a very interesting day. Well oversold on a lot of indicators. Look how low we are still on our daily Bollingers. I mean, good lord, look how low we are right down there. So way oversold. They were tight. Bollingers were tight on the daily. We see how we can spread out here, but we were a lot tighter here. So we still have a little bit more running room to go down before we find a little more of a stronger support. I could go a little lower. I mean, there's still a little, we found support at 60, 2680 area here. And this has to hold. If this holds, then again, we can build on this and help the broader market. And then we can see crypto, money start to flow back in. But it's pretty scary there. Let's look at EOS real quickly here. We've been watching this channel. Same thing here. We broke in the wedge bearishly there. Yeah, see, we were breaking out. It was a fake out, total fake out, because we didn't have a close above. And let's see, how far are we in our chart here? Oh yeah, this was a VPVR chart. Let me just do this. Yeah, check this out here. So when EOS broke really bullish here back in November, and then was it November? Well, it was really, yeah, it was then. It moved so quickly here, kind of similar to parts of Bitcoin, that we didn't really have that reset in these areas between, I don't know, like 150 and 250 to $3. So we're in that, maybe a little higher here. Now we have double touched and tested right here at the $4 range twice. We break out of the $4, this can fall very quickly to the $2 range. It totally could. And that's something that you have to keep an eye on here with an extended bear break of Bitcoin. Definitely a possibility for much more bearishness than EOS, because this broke so bullish earlier, still yet to test these major levels here. What else we got going on here? Let me take a look at Litecoin. I'll do Ethereum, and then I'll take some questions. Now we were looking at this double tap here. Let me run my VPVR. So look at this Litecoin chart here. We have our channel. It's not a channel. Oh, I know what I did. This was the channel with the zero line, right? So let me bring back my middle. There we go. Yeah, I like that. I think that makes sense. Let's see. Let me just reposition here, and then there, and then let's see. Do I like? Yeah, that. Yeah, I like that. So we got something interesting here. We still have this one bottom, two bottom, and we're could be in this third bottom test here. I put this little question mark here. Um, I think before this bear break. But basically, we're seeing you're still outside the lower BB. Remember, when we broke bearish here, we did hold this area. Can we be putting in some sort of a triple leg here? Still potentially putting in an inverse H&S. Still, it's valid. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Um, with all the potential to hold. I don't know though. I mean, remember, Bitcoin breaks super bearish, and we're going down. We're going down, back retesting this line here. Look at it's support, it's resistance, it's back tested as support. Yeah, this center line of our channel, this is real. This is legit, and this is a $35 bear break to Litecoin if we actually get down there. It's very possible, which would put somewhere of a catch here, negate the INS, inverse HNS, and basically create another area here where you can find actually some longer term support. Remember, 35 in Litecoin corresponds with this major area of support here. Um, that would be put into play here after a failure of this mid 40s area. Now, there's Litecoin's different. There was a lot of room. There was a lot of consolidation in this, 35 to 45 area here. A lot of people got into Litecoin in this time here initially. And it just still, even with this bear break, is still kind of holding like Bitcoin is, at least somewhat of a higher low than we did earlier in September. But again, all this can change if Bitcoin continues to break bearish. Let's look at ETH. Where is ETH? ETH. Yeah, look at Coinbase. Why not? So we are still under the lower BB. Look at this volume bar. This was a bearish AF volume bar here. Notice this one here. This was a bottom hammer volume bar here that held some support for a little bit of time. Okay, this was just all bearish. Straight sell, little wick. Nothing that basically tells you, other than being oversold in certain areas here, that you're actually finding um, that area of basically that center of continued bearishness that ETH has not found a bottom yet. Now, this is not the same chart as LTC. We basically see, um, uh, well, it's definitely put in a much lower headline there, that's for sure. So yeah, it would literally have to hold. I mean, you just can't. If we double tap here, this low area here, this can break. This can totally break. And listen, where is our next short-term support here? Yeah, right there, 131. 131 is on the chart where we had found support here on this bear break in July of 17. We also found support here on this earlier bear break of May of 17. 131. 131. Let's go to a wider time frame here. I want to see if that can tell us anything from in terms of the support. I want to bring back my Bollinger Bands. And our lower BB is at 109, but our little tip here, 131, 110 to 130. Yeah, so 110 to 130. Yeah, after 131, it's literally like 98. Yeah, 131, 154, right there, 149, 150. Yeah, I mean, like 150 to 130 is kind of that next area of kind of support with ETH. But remember, every leg that Bitcoin can take down, it's going to take ETH um, with it. But as we get lower and lower, you see these breaks. There's volatility, but like even with LTC, you're not seeing the breaks as vicious just because there's not a lot of running room. We had seen much more running room to volatility when Litecoin was above $100 and when ETH was above, let's just call it $500. All right, quick shout out to the chat room. Let me just go through a couple of questions here. So why is there almost $100 difference on the Phoenix than others? I've been told that it has something to do with the variation of tether, and that it's a compensation for a tether price under $1, which would make sense, I guess. Um, Even though other exchanges are also off. So there's a lot of kind of arbitrage. That just has a lot to do with the differentiation. There's a lack of retail, so there's just a differentiation in each exchange's money flow and bot action and wash trading, and we're starting to see that diverge. That's always been a bearish sign. 5.5K is the next step down. It's possible. I mean, there's a lot of supports in the 5K region that Bitcoin can definitely test. 57, 55, 53, um, 5 even. What was this chart? Interesting chart here. What I got? I mean, even down all the way down to, again, it's about how we get down there. Um, I put out a tweet and I retweeted. Here it is. Open window price history. Yeah, so on the VPVR, we see there was very little price history between $4,600 and $5,400. So you could definitely fall through that range rather fast because as you see here, when we broke bullishly into it, especially right here, boom, break bullish, not even a retest in this area here. So this can fall through this area rather fast if we actually get there as well. Um, Listen, Litecoin showed us a way here. These are both monthly Bitcoin, Litecoin. This is the middle Bollinger on Litecoin. 1, 2. By the third month, it acted as resistance. 1, 2. Third month is October. Now, at the time I tweeted this, like 6 days ago, we were holding support. Now we broke it. Now we're under our support. And we saw what happened with Litecoin when that middle Bollinger was not able to act as support. We broke down, remember, to $49, $47. Maybe that's a Bitcoin, 4,700. Back up to what, $59, $60. So maybe a retest from 4,700 back to 6K of Bitcoin. Followed by another breakdown of 5K. I mean, it's Litecoin showing us a way here. What else we got? Yeah, listen, this was what we had here with ETC, and this breaking down the wedge here, which could bring us down to 850 if we hold this, but our overall ratio could bring us down a lot lower. Remember, ETC was 50 cents at one point. And then ZRX, we saw what happened. We did break through here briefly again on a candle wick. Same thing here. We broke through our Satoshi level, through our MA 200 on our daily, but the sell-off was pretty intense because of its listing of a buy the rumor, sell the news thing. Oh yeah, and this one here. Listen, guys, I put this out October 6th. I put this out 6 days ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. We hadn't had our 5 yet on our wedge here, right? On our triangle. But we did it. We have hit our 5, and we see what happened when we hit our 5 the last time. That brought in a very bearish move in the 2014 Bitcoin fractal that brought us down to our overall low area, and that mired us into a bear market for about 8 more months in this area of 160 to $300 before we were able to break out of it and start our epic 2017 bull run. So this is still in play. This fractal is still in play because we're down at the 5 now. We're down at the 5. Actually, we broke through the 5, on this line of support, came back up. Honestly, we're kind of below the 5 now. This is playing out, people, until proven otherwise. What else we got here? uh, let's see here. What's up, guys? Yeah, XRP. Listen, XRP. This was the one that gave us the most chance. Oh yeah, I did a tweet on XRP too. I got to bring that up. There it is here. Listen, we had this open window of price action when we broke bullish, and that just meant the price could fall really close, right through back down to, I don't know what this is, maybe the high 20s or 30s here. We also see our area here, our middle BB on our daily was around 43 there at the time I tweeted this. And where's the X? Where are you, Ripple? Oh, that's the BTC. Yeah, that's the BTC. And XRP the Phoenix is fine. Yes. Mm-mm-mm. Wow, we've really come back. I mean, we go to the top of the wick here. Look at that. We're getting close to that 78. Are we getting close to that 78? Yeah, we are. Right around 36 cents. But our VPVR was showing that, yeah, look at this window here. There's nothing here to 35 cents. Yeah, yeah, there could be some support right here at 36 cents. A couple cents down on Ripple, corresponding with these candles here, and the 78% fib retrace from our nut top. Wow, what a pullback! What a just a vicious pullback. This wrecked a lot of people here because this broke a big downtrend. This move was significant. And the fact that it couldn't follow through was also significant. We'll see how this higher low persists. Are we breaking down again here? Are we breaking down again here? Let's go back to it. Let's look at stamp here. I had this stamp of approval. So look at this. I've adjusted this slightly. But check this chart out. This is basically our supports and resistances. We see our wedge. We're coming in. I did adjust the most recent movement here. That actually spread us out a little bit. As long as this higher low keeps, we're still putting in this higher low. And this could take us still now to October 26th. Now, if we continue to break bearish, I can still pull this down kind of all the way to 5,700, and once we break that, this gig is over. We are breaking through our tightening wedge here, our tightening, whatever you want to call it. It's like a fish or a dagger or arrowhead, and setting in a completely new market dynamic here, in a much lower area of price action here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see here. How relevant are gaps in the GBTC? Still think the CME ones are much more significant. Yeah, the CME ones are definitely more significant. The GBTC ones, gaps, see, this is tricky. Yeah, I mean, I expect a lot of gaps to be filled. I definitely expect any gaps in where is my Bitcoin futures? There it is. In my CME futures gap, especially on at least the 4 hour, to be filled, and I don't see any gaps yet. Every gap on the 4 hour to me is clean and filled. 1 hour. I know there's a gap up here still on the 1 hour at 67. The 1 hour gaps, though, I'm still kind of skeptical on, just because there's other gaps way far back at like much higher prices, and yeah, it's possible those will get filled, like a year from now. But at least the 3 or 4 hour, I still want to keep it strong on the 4 hour, because I know for a fact that every gap on the 4 hour has been filled up to this point. What else? Melissa Ann Stokes Curry. Hello, John Boss Waloff, Engine IPEC. What's going on, guys? Yeah, Heldon Gregerson. There we go. Crypto JP, what's up, guys? All right, so 45 minutes. That's a decent show tonight. Listen, guys, there's nothing that says Bitcoin is holding this area with a sense of reliability. Look at Coinbase dropped to 60.35 there. Wow. That got much lower. Yeah, still putting in that higher low, though. We're watching this here. Oh yeah, let's go to cryptocurrency market cap. Look at 55.1. So this bled. Look at Bitcoin bled. Alts bled more. We see that. Okay, Bitcoin dominance rose up when this bearishness happened here. We're also seeing. Look at our historical data: 3 billion, 3 billion, 5 billion. So we got a lot of money flow. But it was bearish money flow. Still bearish money flow. Market cap is sub 200 billion. Back down to 196. Still more cryptocurrencies being added, and market cap is 114 billion on Bitcoin and falling. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. How about some thumbs up in the chat? Much appreciated, you guys here. Appreciate all your support. I'll continue to put out kind of content I do on Twitter, and keep it flowing there. And until next time here, hope to talk to you guys soon. It's Big Chonis. We'll leave you with a little Bitcoin price action here. Stay safe. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.